In many low and middle income countries, agribusinesses are deeply engaged in providing services to small and medium scale farmers. Such services include agricultural advisory services or extension services. Yet, this phenomenon of agribusiness based advisory services has relatively little received little attention in the study of and discussions on advisory services. This appears to be a critical oversight as agribusinesses are increasingly present as service providers in many geographies and hence shape the prevailing service landscape for smallholder farmers. Importantly, agribusinesses face various challenges in their role as service providers with impacts both on agribusinesses themselves and on their ability to contribute to inclusive agricultural development. In the African agricultural landscape, the concept of village based advisors is getting a lot of traction. Various designated, Variously designated as village enterprise advisors or proxy sales force or even as village wealth advisors, these youth from the rural background are supposed to provide the last mile link between various input providers on the one hand and extension and research agencies and the farmers. Depending on the brief, these youth are required to provide various services that are required by both input agencies as well as the smallhold farmers. Some of these services include providing seeds and fertilizers in small and affordable packs, educating farmers on how to vaccinate their livestock like poultry, carrying soil samples for soil testing, getting the geolocations of farmer fields, and so on. It is expected that these village based advisors can also contribute to ensuring food security in the face of climate change by helping farmers with newer varieties of crops and inputs. The one condition that these advisors must have is to own a two wheeler and willingness to travel in the deep interiors where input agencies do not have the reach. All this sounds very good to hear, and one fervently hopes that such a innovative model will go a long way in ensuring that both the farming community at large and the unemployed youth get what they deserve. Many research evidences are available that support such approach in Africa. Organizations like Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, popularly known as AGRA, support such a movement aggressively. My friend Paul Seward, who is the founder of Farm Inputs Promotion Africa, or which is popularly known as FIPS, has done seminal work in this area. We have had the privilege of examining closely the efficacy of such a model in a couple of countries in Africa while doing projects. Our considered conclusion was that while the model in its present template and format is desirable, the selection of the village based advisors is far from satisfactory. And in some cases, the faulty selection of the VBAs have resulted in not getting the desired output and outcome. But before explaining what is needed to rectify the situation, let me explain how the village based advisors or VBAs are selected as of now in many projects. Many organizations like Agra, as I mentioned, prefer the selection of VBAs to be done by farmers. The democratic way of recommendation and selection is supposed to obtain wide acceptability of the chosen one. In Tanzania, we observed that such advisors were recommended by the village elder who held sway in every decision that the village has to take. Research agencies and input companies usually hold a meeting in the premises of the village head, and it is not uncommon for the village head to recommend someone who is close to him no matter whether he or she possesses the requisite qualities or traits to become a good village based advisor. It has been our approach to select such village based advisors based on their psychological attributes by developing sophisticated and reliable psychometric tools. The question is, what are the desirable traits a village based advisor must have? Based on our empirical research and findings, we have figured out that a good and competent advisor must have good networking skill, significant empathy, listening skill, passion for work, metacognition, and conscientiousness that involves diligence, ethical values, and creditworthiness. These traits can only be reliably measured by psychometric tools. Simply looking at somebody, there is no way you can figure out the presence or absence of these traits. But in almost every selection of the advisor, the impressions and his proximity to the decision maker has been the method or the tool that was employed. When we ask the two questions to the selectors, like do they know what they are looking for, and more importantly, do they recognize it when they see it, we found them to be absolutely blank. What do you make of a candidate when he talks about himself and his accomplishments? Needs accurate interpretation. Coming back to Tanzania, in one of the projects in Iringa district, which is in the southern highlands of Tanzania, we were deploying our psychometric tool to measure entrepreneurship, trainability, and creditworthiness of the village based advisors. One person was identified as very low on these three attributes. When we presented this data to the group, there was a stunned silence. Then the group started having animated discussion among themselves. Not understanding their local Swahili language, I was a bit taken aback and confused. After a while, their group leader came to me and asked for a reconfirmation of my findings, which I did. Then he told me that this person was the most unreliable person in the entire village, but nobody could raise their voice against him as he had strong political linkages and that he had borrowed money from several villagers and had refused to pay back the money that he had taken. Our findings, based on psychometric selection, gave the group the much needed confidence to remove him. In one of the recent projects in Kenya, we were presented with a group of village based advisors who were already selected by the panel and we were asked to measure their effectiveness. Our conclusions were shocking. We measured these advisors on their entrepreneurship, trainability, and creditworthiness. The results revealed that over two-thirds of the sample were not trainable. What does it mean? It means they were highly opinionated, had low listening ability, and were lacking in integrity. Now, all will agree that if we were to define the key performance areas or key performance indices, KPIs, of the advisors, these would be exhibiting initiative, quick learning, hands on approach, ability to listen to farmers, and finally, and perhaps most importantly, having honesty and integrity. Our findings revealed that out of the entire lot of advisors, VBAs, only one had the requisite non cognitive traits present in him to be a successful village based advisor. In conclusion, therefore, I would like to recommend that the selection of the village based advisor, if it has to happen, only after correctly profiling him through psychometric tools. It is important for us to figure out which are the influencing non cognitive traits that will determine how successful the village based advisor would be on the ground. Factors like networking, empathy, passion for work, assertiveness, locus of control, metacognition, extraversion, creditworthiness, all these, the constellation of these are critical for the success of this role, and the impressionistic way of selection needs to be discarded. A scientific approach to selection is the key to have the last mile connect with the right kind of village based advisor, and that is one way to address food security. Thank you very much.